Today, for the very first time, we are going to listen to In This Moment's new album called Godmode. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another album review / reaction here on my channel. My buddy Chris is here with me.
That's me.
And we are going to be listening to the brand new In This Moment album. We are both really pumped. We just got done listening to the new Poppy album, which was, well, you can watch the reaction on my channel for that. I think I'll probably put this one out first because I think a lot more people are into In This Moment than Poppy. And it just makes a little bit more sense. But
they've been around forever.
Yeah, and they're a pretty huge band in this moment. So anyway, we're really excited to listen to this. As of right now, when we're recording this, it's the day the album came out, which is October 27th. So we're getting very close to spooky Halloween time, and there's no better time of year to listen to In This Moment, at least their last probably like 4 or 5 albums, then around Halloween time.
1 week after Halloween.
Well, it's probably when this comes out, you mean?
Right, yeah.
Right. Well, the album comes out, it's October 27th as of right now, so we've still got the Halloween spirit flowing within us, which is why I still have my Halloween costume on. So if you're tuning into my channel for the very first time, these are not my own luscious locks. These are, in fact, it is in fact a wig. And
your luscious locks have unfortunately gone the way of the dodo.
Yeah, there is no luscious locks at all. And then I'm wearing this shirt because my costume was Bray Wyatt. So that's what it was. But I do have underneath this, I do have my In This Moment shirt on.
Oh, very nice. Well done. Was that intentional?
Definitely intentional, yes.
Nice.
And so that just proves that I'm a huge super fan, way bigger fan than you, and I know way more about Maria Brink and In This Moment than you ever will. So
that's true.
Oh, I wasn't talking to you. I just talking to the general viewer who thinks they know more than us, because they probably do.
I'm wearing my Carpenter Brute shirt that I got at the show most recently that I saw them, which was sometime recently.
That's also really good stuff to listen to around this time of year.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't. I think I might have bought this separately.
In any case, Carpenter Brute is great. Their album from last year, his album from last year, almost made it onto my list of top 12.
Is that the teeth one?
It had the the leather jacket on the front.
Yeah, and that might have been what it was called, actually.
Very heavy, very metal. For this video, I'm going to be drinking a Gatorade because I don't want to have cramps. Actually, it's purple. It's Fierce Grape.
Purple, okay.
My favorite color, my favorite flavor of Gatorade. It's been really strange, but my whole family has been getting cramps recently, like in the mornings when we're waking up and stuff. I know that's when most people get cramps. And it kind of makes sense for me because I've been filled with anxiety and standing around and doing a lot of different things physically than I normally do because I've been getting ready for this special Halloween video, which should already be out on my channel. So go check out our Rob Zombie reaction with all the cool Halloween special stuff that I added into it, the crazy videos and everything that I filmed for it. Go check that out. But I've been doing a lot of different things physically because of that. And yeah, Gatorade is to help with cramps and everything. So everyone out there, whoever suffers from cramps or anything at night, I feel you. It's absolutely horrific and terrible. And always make sure you get a drink of Gatorade. Drink it through.
I've had a couple of different times where I've gone to bed dehydrated and I'll wake up in the morning and I'll do a stretch or something. And I'm talking I woke up at 4 a.m. for whatever reason. I'll stretch and then my calf will just lock up.
Yep.
And that's hell. I'm not really much of a cramped up person. I don't really get cramps very often, and that is just awful.
It's really strange though, because I'm not very much like that either. I did always every year when we would start football practice when I was in high school, I would get cramps a lot, just because the body's not used to it, and I'm doing a lot more physical activity. But it's really been really strange because me and both my folks have been getting cramps recently, and we don't know what the heck is causing it. And my mom and I just think that it's a cause of this lingering COVID that we just have that is really weird.
That's definitely something. There's a long list of long COVID symptoms, and that's certainly going to be part of it.
And I think one of the reasons for me is that I have these weird sweats throughout the day where I just full body sweat, and it happens to me at night as well. And so I think that's one of the reasons I'm being a little bit more dehydrated than normal. But anyway.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
To bring up the COVID stuff, though, I will say I have off to the side in case I start coughing. I do have a cough drop off to the side. That's a tough thing to say. Cough drop off to the side. Cough drop off to the side. Twice right there. I got it.
Yeah,
But
now
then
you get to pick which take you like better.
also got my Gatorade, and I have a bottle of water down here. So I'll try to manage my coughing as much as possible. It wasn't a big deal during the Poppy video.
Right.
All right, I don't think we have too much else to say. I am a big fan of In This Moment. We've talked about them on the channel before. We could talk for a long time about the things that have been disappointing me about their albums over the last 3, 4, 5 albums. But I think instead, let's just get right into the music. We'll see what we're hearing, and then I'll try to sort of explain things. Chris and I did actually react to the track 1 on this album, which is called Godmode. We reacted to this song earlier in the year. So
really?
Yes. So if you want to hear our react, maybe I did it myself, but I'm pretty sure we did it together. I can't remember, but I know I've reacted to this, and
I can't speak for you, but I might have.
Maybe it was just me, because I remember just being disappointed immediately, like, oh my gosh, this sounds exactly like I thought it was going to sound. So I have heard the first track on this album.
I know I've heard it. I don't think I reacted to it because if it's the song I'm thinking of, then there's a lot about it that I like for sure.
Oh, I think that's the second single that I never heard.
Oh,
because you and I have talked about this over the last couple of months. I think I remember. I think that's the second single, which I never heard, because you were like, "Oh, I really like," and I was like, "No, that's not in Godmode." So.
Oh, great! Let's go then.
So yeah, let's get right into track 1, Godmode. We don't have to look at the song lengths because they're not any 2-minute ones like there was on Poppy. We got some.
Yeah, look, they're still bringing the heat. They've got 10 tracks, all over 3 minutes. That's good stuff.
Almost.
You can tell they've been around a while because they're doing that.
Well, and the other thing too is they have a lot of samples. They have a lot of moments in their songs where quiet things happen, or there's transitions from one part of the song to another, which
that's true.
Poppy doesn't do. She just bing, 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 right, song done. So
and several other artists as well who are just kind of hammering out. But yeah,
those short songs. All right, let's go. This is Godmode in 3, 2, 1. I love the digital stuff. Oh, well, I'll say as this is getting started, last year their last album, Mother, I thought was a big step up from their previous album, Ritual, and their previous album, which was, I can't even remember, but I liked Mother, even though I was really disappointed still with it overall, I would say. But last year they released the album, it was Blood 1983 or something, where they synth popped some of their songs from their popular album Blood from back in the day. I'm hoping that some of that synth pop, synth wave, dark wave stuff leaks into this album.
Oh, sure.
Now that I'm hearing this, I don't think that I've heard this song. I think The Purge is maybe the song I heard. Because this just feels like an intro so far. Finally, some clean vocals. And by clean, I mean no digital distortion added after the fact. At this point, the Poppy song would be over.
Yep. And it would have reached just as high of heights.
Yes. Okay, they decided to give us a little guitar. Okay, we lost Chris, so we'll just wait for him to get back. Hello.
Hello.
All right, you finished the song out?
I did.
Okay, good. Nothing really different happened, so.
Right.
Okay, so I think that is actually different than the song that I heard. I think I may have heard the next song, The Purge. However, I just want to say one thing, this is my fear. That was exactly what I thought we were going to hear. The exact thing.
What about it?
Completely overly distorted vocals in the verse, kind of whispered, more sung during the chorus with just the faintest touch of some guitars. The entire song is basically an electronic song. Every single thing is compressed to within an inch of its life to be as loud as humanly possible, making the most sausagey looking waveform of all time. I'm sure I don't even need to look at it. And basically, it sounds exactly like what In This Moment's albums have sounded like the last 2 or 3 albums. So, with that being said, my expectations are going to be set such that I'm going to see if I like it more than their last few albums. And that's what I'm going to be comparing this to. I will say, I did hear high frequencies in the mix.
Yes.
So this already is starting off a little better than the Poppy thing, which if you didn't join us for that, I was a little disappointed because the Poppy album does the thing where there's a very strange but also consistent lack of high frequencies in the mix. This had that. However, everything was just so compressed, which is what they're known for. It's just absolutely what it is. So how did you feel about that then?
It feels thin.
Thin, okay.
Especially having compared it to the Poppy album, because that's the thing we just most recently listened to.
Yeah.
It's like someone turned all the bass down in my gear.
Do you want to know why I think it feels that way? Like, I mean, the answer is obvious. It's the overcompression. But the thing is, sonically, there was no moment in that song where the song got bigger.
Right.
When the song started and it was just a tiny little synth, and then some little other synths came in and she started singing, it was a brick from there on out. No matter what, no matter what was happening with the instrumentation.
It seems like it should have dynamics.
Oh yeah, when things come in, it should explode and be big. And I get what they're trying to do. You know, we have talked about this before on my channel about them, like the fact that it's essentially they are just an electronic band now. Mm-hmm. And normally with any other band, I would be like, oh, this is so cool what they're doing. You know, like I like the creepy atmosphere. I like all this. However, In This Moment has done this type of thing correct in the past, before they just decided to compress everything to snot. And so, even though...
So as you mentioned recently, we were talking about producers, and you said, oh, this guy is the guy that ruined In This Moment.
Kevin
and I was
Churko.
I was confused about that, because I wasn't sure when you considered that ruination to have started. Mm-hmm. But if the answer to that question is after Black Widow, then I agree.
Well, the thing is, he's been with them from pretty early on.
Okay.
And I do like for just so people know, like my favorite within this or in This Moment album by a billion miles, and I think maybe one of the best albums I've ever heard. It's in contention to be in my top 20. I don't know if it would make it there. is their album The Dream. I think it is phenomenal, and it is so unlike any other metal album that has been. It's such a cool combination of something like Journey mixed with what they're doing here. But there's just so much more musicianship to it. Every song is guitar, bass, drums, vocals based, and her vocal performance is just phenomenal across the album. And there's no there's no distortion or anything like that. Every song is like a normal song. And then after that album was Star-Crossed Wasteland, which is, in my opinion, other than Death Magnetic, the worst compressed album thing I've ever heard in my life. It is trash.
Okay.
Then they did Black Widow, I think it is, which is Big Bad Wolf, right? And
yeah.
Oh no, I take it back. Blood. Then was Blood.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's what the album is called, but that's Blood and the song Horror, which is my favorite song of theirs across their whole catalog.
Huh?
And Adrenalize Me, or Adrenaline or Adrenalize, like those songs are all, that album is mixed really, really well. And it's the start. That's where this sound that they have here started, but it's still got dynamics to it. And the songs are still based on guitar, bass, drums, vocals. Then we had Black Widow, which I feel like is their best album that's done in this style, like the horror.
I don't know them a lot. I don't really know their music before Black Widow. And I think Black Widow is fire. Like, there are some of the heaviest, punchiest sounds of just, like, there is, like, the beginning, I think, is it Big Bad Wolf that starts with the air raid siren?
I think so, but that's Big Bad Wolf is just by far the best song on that album. I mean, without question.
Right. Sick Like Me is really great too, though.
Oh, Sick Like Me is good too. Yeah.
There's a couple of times on that album where it's like, I don't see how anything could ever be heavier than this. Like, just the way that it sounds, it is so massive and
you
so
know, so I'm sorry. I think one of the reasons for that is the way the drums sound. Like, that album is all about the drums and also them still keeping in the sound of the guitars. And so that album to me is when we have like modern era in this moment started. And then after that, they now have had, I think there are 4 albums since then, which is, I think I'm forgetting one, but there's this album.
I'm thinking of this one, then 2 before this.
Ritual and Mother. And I think that there was one in between there. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. It might be Black Widow, Ritual, Mother, and then Godmode. But
that's what I'm thinking.
I think there's... Every one of their albums is really interesting, but... Okay, sorry, we're going way too deep in this. The thing that bothers me the most about In This Moment is their insistence on having every single verse be... Now, they didn't used to be like this. Every single verse of every song is Maria Brink trying as hard as she can to sing as quietly as possible, going... And it's like distorted to high heaven. Like it sounds like the very stereotypical audio sound effect when something's coming out of an old radio, right? You see the old radio plugin in every single saturation or distortion plugin, and that is what her vocals sound like. They're coming out of a tin can. And she's doing the like very breathy, slow, like creepy sound, which theoretically is really cool. And then there's like a pre-chorus where everything goes away, and she does this very slow vocal that kind of just lingers. And then there's the drop where we finally, for the first time, a minute and a half into the song, we get the first hint of guitars. The guitars are not playing guitar parts. They're just, basically they played one guitar note, and then the person who's editing the song chopped up the guitar notes and dropped them into a pattern that they put with the giant synth bass. And then the kick and the snares are just doing their drum parts that go along with that pattern. And here's where she sings clean vocals that are not distorted. And when I say distorted, again, I want to say not screaming distorted. I mean digital distortion added after the fact. And then, so here's where she sings the big soaring chorus, and then the song comes down, goes into the second verse. It is so formulaic. Every single song is this exact same formula across their last 3 albums for sure. And the thing that pisses me off about them so much is that formula sounds so cool. You know, they are the closest thing that we'll probably ever get to like horror metal music, kind of like Rob Zombie. And I think Maria Brink's voice is just absolutely incredible, no matter how she's singing. But it pisses me off so much that they refuse to ever let her sing during the verses with clean vocals. It's always this distorted, like scary throwback horror distortion thing to try to make it sound like it should belong in like a creepy horror movie trailer, right? And it really pisses me off because they are all so talented in this band, and you would literally never know that in any single aspect of the music anymore. Maybe that's the thing that bothers me the most. Like, even Maria Brink singing really good the way that she does, she can sing way better than the stuff that they're having her sing here. And the guitar players can actually play the guitar, the bass can actually play the bass, the drummer can actually drum. And you would never know that in any regard listening to any of these songs. So I know I just ranted there for a while, but that is just my feelings in this moment over the last few albums. And it keeps my disappointment keeps crushing me more every time. Because at this point, it's kind of almost like the Birthday Massacre. I'm like, please just get a new producer. Make an acoustic album. Do something completely different with a completely different person to shed this like thing that you have that's just got you gripping you so tightly you cannot deviate or do anything differently at all.
Yeah.
And so sorry, that's a long.
It's almost like a self-parody thing. It's like when characters in cartoons and I guess really just in general in TV, when the show goes on too long and then they're just like there are certain defined like features of a character that are like the macro features where it's like, oh, this character is fat and dumb. Yeah. And, you know, whatever else. And it's like the longer a show goes, the more the big macro characteristics become the only thing that is ever focused on. And it's it's just like a self-parody thing where it's like you are the character pretending to be the character that you were 5 seasons ago, 10 seasons ago, or whatever. Yeah. And it's kind of like that where it's like, it's not that they're phoning it in, but it's just almost a self-parody thing where it's like, well, what is it in this moment? In this moment is electronic elements and some horror and this little vocal and then the screamy thing and then that. And it's like, now we've got this bullet-pointed list of what defines this band, and now we must only make a formula that sticks to that list of things that's not nearly nuanced enough.
And so what I'm hoping is that we break free from those shackles. I want to be surprised so much by this album.
Yeah.
After hearing that song and the other one, which I think is the next song, The Purge, I have zero faith that we're going to break from that at all. And I'm not saying like every single song is going to be that. I understand we'll probably get one song that's like a piano and her singing or something. And I'm really excited for track 3 because their cover on this album, which notoriously we discussed this in the Rob Zombie video, and I may have edited it out, I don't remember. But notoriously, we do not care for in this moment's cover songs.
Yeah, they just don't ever really.
They just don't land. It always sounds to me like they're trying to make a song to put in a movie trailer with their covers. Like that's exactly like it's so cliche at this point the way they approach them. And I'm so. Army of Me is a classic Bjork song, and it is a heavy song. It has been covered by numerous artists, including Powerman 5000, including all sorts of really cool artists. It has been done orchestrally. It has been done to death. And Bjork, nothing comes close to Bjork's original 1996 version of that song. I think that's from.
I've never heard it, and Bjork is a fascinating character to me.
Yeah, and you've definitely heard the song. When you the drum beat, you would absolutely 1,000% know, 100%. Sure. But I'm really curious to see what they do because I guarantee they'll take the drums out at the beginning. It will be slow. She'll do the first part, and then. But if you complain once more, you'll meet an army of men. And then she'll do the screaming part, and the drum, the one guitar note that gets chopped up will come in, and I can hear exactly in my head what it's going to be, and I wish I could portray it easily so that you could be like, yep, Patrick was right. That's exactly what they're going to do. But again, I want them to surprise me on this whole album. I want there to be things that I did not expect, and I want there to be dynamics, which is something we haven't got from them since probably 2010. And I want there to be I want there to be heavy Maria Brink moments. I want her to scream her guts out more than just one word in a bridge, right? I want her to have screaming parts where she is screaming.
I see.
And I want her to...
Well, age comes for us all.
That's a great point. And she was never like a huge fan of all the screaming stuff really anyway. And they did it so much on their first album, which if you heard their first album, it's pretty much all screaming with only sung choruses.
I believe it.
And it's really bad. But, that was what they could do at the time. Her singing, she was not confident in her singing at all. But anyway.
What I was going to actually, one thing I wanted to bring up about this first song is that it reminds me of I Am Death by Demon Hunter.
Okay.
The first song off of whatever album that was. It is, yeah. I'm waiting for it to get to proof.
That's the end of the sample. Prodigal Son.
Okay. Yeah, but that song has there's a certain limitation to that song where it just kind of because this kept doing this thing where it would build up and she would do a scream thing, but then the music underneath did not follow that track.
Okay.
It just kind of stayed where it was. And that's what I thought about. That's how that song I Am Death or Death from Demon Hunter reminds me of. Not necessarily that I'm complaining about death, but it just reminded me of it. But it was it was kind of a neat decision for them to not take the music to follow the way that the vocals changed, where she built up and then this big thing. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the downside of that is that the music doesn't really change much.
Do you think that that's maybe one of the reasons for that is because it is the intro to the album? In both cases?
No, I don't know. I mean, it's
I would definitely say with the Demon Hunter song, they limited themselves to what that song was because it was just the intro to the album. And so I don't know. I don't know about in this case because this song to me felt like, well, first of all, it took a minute for us to get to anything that was like a regular song. It was just a very long intro, which they are known to do.
With it being the title track, also, I could see it being almost like a banner song of here's an intro of us introducing this album that is the same as this name as this song, and that's why it's this way.
Yeah. Let's get to track 2.
Yeah.
This is the Purge. You ready? Mm-hmm. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is, I'm pretty sure, the song I heard.
If this is the song I'm thinking of, which it most likely is, there's a scream in this song that is just fantastic.
Maybe this is the one we reacted to, but you don't remember reacting to it. Distorted vocals. I mean, I knew it was coming, so it's not impressive for me to say that, but... Massive drums.
Yeah. It did that thing again.
Oh.
Bum 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 bum. Back to the muted version.
That's right, because I remember having to edit this song and having it be a nightmare.
Oh yeah, why?
Because her curse words are in bad places, and they're stretched out.
Oh sure, because of the delay.
I can just go back into that session and take the song and bounce it, because I already did it.
Fair. See, the music's not changing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just elements are coming in and out.
Yeah. That's very stereotypical for hip hop, right? The music stays the same the whole time. The chorus is just a different vocal thing. So what's happening here is the drums get heavier. There's hi-hats or there's crashes instead of hi-hats, and then the guitars come in. But her vocals get clean. This is pretty cool, though. I just wish that her vocals wouldn't be distorted. I wish it so hard with everything in my being. Like her voice is so cool.
And now it's the same. The music is the same.
Yep.
but it's cool. It's just
Right, and it has that like hip hop flow to it almost, right?
Yeah.
Like this is not a fist pump. This is a sway, right?
this is almost a swagger song.
I have been saying for years, I want a Maria Brink solo album. Give me that. Let her do all this that she wants, and then come back and make an In This Moment album that just kicks ass. And don't work with Kevin Churko anymore, or his brother, or anyone associated with any of the last 3 albums.
All right.
Okay, here we go. It doesn't mean anything because it's distorted.
The scream?
Yes. If I just went, ah, and then added a bunch of digital distortion on it, it would sound the same sonically as this.
It would not.
I know that, but she has the ability to do it without the digital distortion. She's done it in so many other albums. It's so much cooler without the frickin' distortion on it.
It's so good, though.
It's not. That is such a cop-out. She does that in the bridge of every song. Every one of their singles for the last 4 albums, that is what the bridge is. Her doing a scream. Except this time they decided to keep the stupid, annoying digital distortion on it. Very cool drum pattern there.
Yeah.
It's very slow. It's like listening to a dubstep song almost, you know? Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's just nothing happening in that song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the big single, I think it was.
It was the first one.
Yeah, the first one. I feel like I've said everything I need to say about this album, and I'm just going to sit here and wait for them to prove me wrong. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think that they will. Again, I want them to.
If they do that, the rest of this album, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah. Yeah. But this next track is the Bjork cover.
Okay.
So, if you complain, you'll meet an army of me. And then your rescue squads will come and it'll be a whole thing. So, are you ready? We just go right into it.
Let's do it.
Are you ready for Army? This is going to either be the coolest thing or exactly what I think it's going to be and be very disappointing. Ready?
Let's do it. Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1. It's only 3:10. This is pop length, Chris.
And you know that this is a cover, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Already it surprised me a little bit. Distorted vocals in the chorus. Bridge. Give me a scream.
I have heard this.
Notice how the drums aren't trying at all to sound like a drum kit, right? It's just, they're just like, hey, we're doing electronic drums. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't mind the way they sound that much.
But there are drums in this.
It's definitely sitting in a different place than the previous song. 2 songs. Ooh, that sidechain compression now. On the guitars.
It's so it's just so pulsy.
Yeah. I hadn't noticed it up to that point though, so I think that was just maybe that part.
Yeah, I think so.
They put a different kick drum in there, so. So far, this hasn't really surprised me that much. Kind of generic, though, but at least it is in this momentified, I guess. I like that there's not a ton of layers on the vocals.
Yeah. Huge reverb on the side guitars.
That's true. That's a good point. If the whole album sounded like this, I think I would be pleasantly surprised. Okay.
And it's like, I don't know that song really well.
Yeah.
I recognize that chorus. I'm not even sure. It might be that I've already heard this version of it. I'm not sure if this came out as a single or what.
Okay.
But I think I would say from the perspective of making it interesting, they have a little bit of leeway by virtue of the regular song not being that interesting.
Oh, that's not true. The regular song's way better.
Okay.
Yeah. The regular song is like, well, first of all, anytime Bjork is singing on anything, it's more unique than anything else that anyone's ever done. Just by the way of her, like, the most crazy Icelandic accent ever. And
she is so weird.
She, absolutely, in, like, the best way possible.
Oh, that is not a complaint.
No, for sure.
My interaction with Bjork is almost non-existent. I am very aware of her.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've heard anything of hers. Maybe. I know that she's in a really weird Lars von Trier movie that I've never seen. But... yeah, I just know every time I turn around, it's like, what do you mean Bjork made a toothpaste? What do you mean Bjork built a car? Like, how? It's like every time I turn around, she's into something.
Yeah,
she's wormed her way into a thing and just doing really well at it. It's really good. I think she just seems really awesome.
Yeah, we'll probably not get to talk about Bjork on my channel ever again. Probably, maybe, I don't know. We'll never do a Bjork album unless you would want to go back and listen to like.
Why not?
Because her albums for the last 10 years are unlistenable. Like literally, Chris, she has this is an exaggeration because I haven't listened to it because I wouldn't be able to because it's so terrible. But she would release an album that's like her sitting in a room breathing for 45 minutes. And that's the new Bjork album. It cut up into 10 tracks. And then every now and then she'll change up her breathing rhythm. And that would be the whole album. And that is not a joke. Like, she also could have a whole album just played on the ride cymbal. You know, that's just her playing the ride cymbal. But it
sounds like she just is what Yoko Ono used to be. Like,
yeah. Although but I do think her music in the 90s was very special. And this song came off of an album of hers. I'm pretty sure the album is called Hyper Ballad. But I know the song Hyper Ballad is on that album. But like every single song on that album is like the most unique and weird, diverse thing. But every one of them has this hook that just grabs you and will not leave you. Like some of the songs are hard to get through the first time you're listening to them because they're long and you're like, what is this? But every time you listen to it, it's like, wow, this is like a masterpiece. It's like genius on a level that goes really deep. But then after that is her album that I've never heard, but most people consider to be her best album. And I've never heard that one, so I can't talk about it. But then after that, in my opinion, she went off the rails. And all of her music since then has been basically unlistenable. And I have several of those albums, and I've tried listening to them. I can't make it past like track 2 ever. But this is a hugely famous song. I think that there are things that In This Moment did with this song that I like. You know, the whole song was guitar, bass, drums, vocals, like featured, right?
Yeah.
And the guitars did sound like guitars. They weren't as big as I feel like they could have been because they wanted the drum beat to sound in your face, dry drums. Like they wanted the drum beat to be the feature of the song. Yeah. Which is an interesting decision because the drum beat is so iconic on the original song. Like no drums sound like that. And they're so iconic and so massive that
I need to listen to that song.
Yeah, I think it's honestly probably like the biggest drums I've ever heard on anything. Like, and it's from 1996. I think it's 96 or 97. But it's it was an interesting decision for them to feature the drums like that, because I would think that it would make more sense to feature the guitars. The guitars were doing exactly like the most bare minimum of a job, right? Like one of the ways that I tend to judge something is whether or not I think that I could make the song. Mm-hmm. I definitely could have made that song the way that they did it. Like I could have played the guitar part. I could program the synth bass. I could program those drums exactly the way they were. So it was a very simple song. So in that regard, I feel like they didn't do any more than was the bare minimum to fit what the song wanted, right? So they didn't do anything special or anything surprising. Maria Brink's vocals are great. Mm-hmm. I like the vocals during the chorus. I think they were copied and pasted each time. There was no deviation, I don't think, which is fine, but we talked about that during the Rob Zombie a little bit. I like the fact that her vocals weren't so layered and spread out all over the place during the chorus that it felt enormous. It felt like it was staying true to the original song with one sort of vocal line. I think there were maybe a couple of vocal things overdubbed in the middle, but for the most part, it was one vocal take of her doing the actual singing, which she did really well, and I liked the way it sounded. There was still a little bit of distortion on it, but it felt overall clean. And then they did the thing where the verses are distorted again, and she's just singing slow the entire song, but that's how the original song is. It's a very upbeat, up-tempo music, but the whole time Bjork is singing slowly the entire song, which is a very in this moment thing. Very, very rarely does Maria Brink sing anything beyond a half note or a whole note. She just sings long notes always anymore. She never sings like small clippy lines or anything that's fast ever anymore. And so it makes sense. They did this song. I'm happy the way that it sounded relatively. So I don't know. I just feel like I thought they were going to approach that song differently, and I'm glad that they didn't do what I thought they were going to do. However, what they did, to me, is the most obvious thing that they could have done. But
I have not, like I said, I'm not familiar at all with the original, and I can just hear this and go, they didn't really bring anything, like, this is not the Mambo version of this song, for example. You know, it's just the song.
Yeah, and
they did. They ITM'd it, but that's about it.
Yeah. And again, I want to say, like, it's hard for me. I feel somewhat hypocritical when I say, like, the guitar part is so simple that I could play it. Yeah. Because when I say that, what I mean is I'm a terrible guitar player. But, like, any human being on the planet could listen to the guitar part in this song and play it. Like, it is... They're not, but the thing that makes me feel dirty about saying that is, like, I don't really feel like there's anything wrong with that it's so simple.
Things don't need to be complicated to have merit.
Like, this was so much more complex. The guitar part on this was so much more complex than the two songs we heard before this, which, like I said, I don't even think were real guitar parts. I think they literally just did one guitar note, and then the guy who made the song, Kevin Churko, or whichever guy in the band does all the electronic stuff, he just sat there and chopped up these heavy guitar riffs and made a thing out of it. Like, so this song actually had a dude, I assume they recorded themselves chugging away at the riff, and that's at least a little bit more. But I don't know, there's just something to me about the cheapness of some of this that bothers me with this band when it doesn't bother me with other things. So I don't know, it's somewhat hypocritical, I guess, for me. I don't know.
All right, well... Let's move along.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. That was the last track I'm interested in because of the thing. Now, like I said, now I'm just waiting for them to surprise me. All right, this is Sacrifice in 3, 2, 1. Okay, in this moment, let's have clean vocals during the verse. Let's try it, please. Let's try it.
This song makes me want them to cover the Mortal Kombat theme.
So what if I say
It is absolutely Mortal Kombat like 100%. Is that what the guitars are going to be doing during the chorus? Just dun 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 dun.
Yep.
See, they're not even bothering to clean her vocals here.
The building synth. This feels like it can't figure out what direction to go.
I like the way the heaviness sounds a lot here.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the previous song. I just don't understand. She has one of the most amazing, beautiful voices. Why do they insist on doing this? You know, they could have this exact same part, but her singing cleanly, and it would sound amazing. Mm-hmm. It's like she refuses to use a regular microphone and will only use this stupid 1930s harmonica microphone, you know, a green bullet, to sing into. And it's like, what the come on, man. Think she's gonna scream here?
I think she is, yeah.
There's no way this isn't like Mortal Kombat inspired. And I love that. I like this.
Love what? She didn't even give us a scream.
Yeah. She has such a beautiful voice. But you would never know.
There was one part in the beginning, or like the first verse, I suppose, where she did some singing and she threw a little vibrato in there, and it was like, oh yeah, there is a voice under there.
Yeah, there was a moment too in the first verse where I was like, oh, that sounded like older in this moment here. And then it went away.
Here's the thing that keeps coming up for me. Now we have a different problem.
Okay.
We have the opposite problem from the poppy stuff. The opposite problem from the current world of 2.5-minute songs as default, where you have a 4.5-minute song that has 2 minutes worth of song in it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yep. Because you're right. Every song so far, with the exception of the cover, which is a little different, but
Sure,
you're right. Every song, whatever the bass is doing under the first verse, that's what the guitars are going to do during the chorus. And that's pretty much, and the bridge is just everything stops and there's some like creepy stuff and she sings a little and then it comes back in and there's no deviation. You're absolutely right.
I looked, it was like, I think I was at like 3:10 when I looked at it, thinking, how much time of this is left?
Oh.
It's like, ooh.
That's not
and
good.
And you don't want to feel that way. But that song, it did the same thing as the first two, which is like, it doesn't change at all. It just, it is exactly that, where it's like it's doing the thing, and then the chorus comes, and then it's the thing, but with more, and then it's back to the verse, and it's smaller, but it's the same, and then it's never, there's no big explosions, like they're not building up to these huge like drops or anything. It's just on you go. And it's really feeling so dragged out. Like you could have sliced a minute off of that song and it would have been at least less egregious.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I agree with that because I do still like the way the song was structured. I do agree with you that it's the same the whole way through, but they never even bothered to take they never even bothered to take the distortion off of her vocals in that song. So, okay, let's see if this is Skyburner. Let's see if this pattern continues. This is quite a bit longer song than the one we just heard.
No, it's not.
Oh, sorry. This is 3:53. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at the time for Army Me. All right, ready? Skyburner in 3, 2, 1. Hey, maybe we'll get some guitar here during the verse.
Simple intro. Simplified intro, I guess.
But there's some guitar there. It's just low. It's somewhat cleanish.
Yeah, a little bit. Now, let's see if this riff goes anywhere.
They'll have to change it for the chorus. It went down instead of up in energy. This does feel a little bit old school in this moment, I will say. I do like that chorus a lot, but it doesn't really fit with the verse very much. See, here's beautiful, clean vocals. I think those are male vocals too, backing vocals.
That was one of the most boring things I've ever experienced.
I could tell right away when the first chorus started. I was like, Chris is not feeling this one.
It just wouldn't. That was like The Reason by Hoobastank.
Oh, come on. Don't crap on The Reason.
Don't. How dare you say that about the sanctified Hoobastank? Just everything that everybody there was doing was like they were hired to go sing at a state fair. Nobody's working hard at all.
See, I kind of disagree. I think that was definitely musically, that was definitely the most interesting thing we've heard by quite a lot. Music.
Purge was way cooler than that.
Well, I said musically. So like I could not sit down and play that song on the guitar.
I would be surprised if that's true, because that was simpler than Sacrifice.
I don't know. I think that was a little bit more complex than you maybe give it credit for. And the riff during the verse was, I think, a little too complex for me too. But I liked all the layering of clean vocals in the chorus. I didn't mind the fact that it got slower. I think it was weird, and it didn't necessarily fit. To me, that chorus felt like the verse should have been just like piano and her singing, right? And then when that comes in, it's this big moment where everything comes in. Instead, for the first time on the album, we get guitars, heavy guitars, in the verse, and then they choose to have it be in there, and then when you think the song's going to just rip during the chorus, it just...
It did. The most that I can say about the part where it came down is like, I'm surprised it had any further to go. Like that was and by the end I was like, this, I've never considered once in my life a song being heavy and putting you to sleep. And this is somehow both.
That could do that.
It was heavy in every way other than the ways that mattered. Like that was just distortion with it was a snoozer, man. Like go ahead and listen to that song again. I dare you to sit through that whole thing one more time. Mm-hmm. And by the end of it, you'd be like, what? I could be working, you know?
I think, one of the things I was thinking of is because they do the drums the way that they do, like so intentionally, like the way Skrillex programs dubstep drums, that's the way every one of their drum beats are, right? Mm. Whereas like a song, like what I mean by that is just like every song is just like boo, ga, boo, 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 ga, boo, boo, ga, boo, 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 ga, boo, 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 ga. But like that's every song is just like half tempo, and like.
Who? Skrillex?
No, these guys.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say Skrillex does some of the most incredible.
But that's also how
things I've ever heard.
But that's also how like right. But that's also how like dubstep songs work, right? You build up to the thing, and then the drums are just like half tempo.
Oh yeah, because the drop comes and then it stretches way out. It's just like
right. Not all of his cool little things,
right? For sure,
because there's none of that here. But because that's the way they're approaching the drums, like this song should have had a real drum kit on it where the drummer could like do little ghosty notes and
play with brushes and interesting things.
Fills and things. But because of the way that they're doing their music and the way they have done it for the last 4 albums, you can't have any emotion in the drums. The drums are just 100% all the time, flowy beat, always, no matter what. When they're in there, it is 100%, always. Volume, I mean. Mm-hmm. And there's no deviation from it. It's the exact same thing pretty much every song that we've heard so far. We've heard no adrenalized song, no boo-boo-da, boo-boo-da, boo-boo-da. Every song has just been just slow half tempo. And so when you do that with the drums, I feel like that's the opposite of what the drums want to do during a slow part like they had during that chorus. Like I feel like that kind of a drum beat fits really well with the verse, and it definitely fits very well with the way they've done everything before. But at least that song, Chris, deviated from your formula that you were getting mad where the verse is the exact same thing as the chorus. At least this one
did deviate from that, but
differences.
It needs to pick the energy up.
rather than going down.
Chris Schoenberg would despise that song.
Oh, absolutely, he would. He would absolutely.
And he would be right to do it.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Sanctify Me in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Is this what the guitars are going to do during the chorus? Donna, Donna, Donna,
Yeah.
Donna, Donna.
Now, see, that drop isn't even that impressive because it just doesn't have any beef to it. There we go. Yeah, there's so much happening. I feel like I'm in the same room with it now.
Amaranth could do this song.
I don't know them well enough to comment on that. Why?
Gotta do something to entertain myself.
Yeah, why anything?
If you made an AI that just like pumped out in this moment songs, this is what this would give you.
Yeah.
It would give you this. Here we go.
If you
Give me a
feed an
scream.
AI their last 3 albums.
Here we go. Here comes the stream. Dun, 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 dun.
At least the guitars are doing something different.
And she didn't scream it, I guess. It was still distorted, but I mean, come on. Of course it's distorted. Give me the chorus now with no guitars? No? Okay. I don't.
You know what?
I do know what.
At one point during that, and it was pretty early on, I thought, this is heavy, but I don't care.
I agree. That's what I've been saying about them forever. It's because of the way it's mixed. The song doesn't get bigger when the crunchy guitars come in.
It's just such a tube of the same thing from front to back.
Yeah.
Even when the parts change. nothing about the prison in which they are contained changes at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what's the point if you put like in Cabin in the Woods, when they're in the glass boxes underneath the cabin and all of the monsters are in the different cases.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ultimately, that would stop being scary pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're all in boxes. And no matter what they do,
they can't
they're not coming through the glass.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what this is. Every one of these songs is in a fucking box. And no matter what happens, it's not coming through the glass.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing interesting happening here.
Yeah. Yep. And I was thinking even too, like I remember listening to Ritual, and I remember that being the first time that I was disappointed in them in this way. And what I mean mostly by that is that the distorted vocal thing. That's when they started. Mm-hmm. They started it on Black Widow, but it wasn't as egregious. There were still moments. But at least to me, in Ritual, like the theme of that album was sort of like a cultish, like female, like a witch coven type of thing, right? And so you got that
because they've done the theme thing for a while. Black Widow had a theme,
right?
Yeah.
So I was going to say you get that theme from it, right? And there are like samples of seances, and there's moments where what she's singing and it's distorted, but there's also like a banjo or something behind her, and it puts you in the like this space, this atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And then there's still the disappointing things about it, but it's trying a little bit to be something, to bring you somewhere with the music. And
it
then
put itself in a place. It at least came at it with character, where it's like, here's a staple, from the perspective of being a band that makes horror metal. It's like, we'll take all of these different elements of horror, where you've got your spooky, monsters, but then on this one, you've got your ghosts, and then here comes like cult stuff, backwoods, weirdo shit like that. And then, they could even do like a neat little, if they wanted to get really wild with it, do like some bayou horror, like something from like Louisiana, things like that. I mean, maybe.
Mother was all based on religion and the idea of like a mother and a father fighting over the daughter, and like the father was the evil and the mother was the good, and like all this different. That was really interesting. Great. Yeah.
But what the hell is this?
I was going to say,
Godmode is nothing. Like there was sort of it started off with this sort of like glitchy digital thing going on.
Right. And that got me like, oh, maybe we'll get a little bit of that.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some thematic elements here. But I mean, aside from the album itself being overly electronic, which isn't a particular departure, it's not. If that's the theme, then theme is not strong enough to carry an album.
No, Let's get through this. Everything starts and ends with you. That to me sounds like it could be a ballad. Mm-hmm. So I'm expecting maybe Evanescence-like piano song here. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1. Nope. Like that synth though.
Yep. Babies for synth.
That's what the guitars are gonna do?
God, I just know it is.
For the love!
Every song, it's the same.
If I had my voice distorted through this whole reaction, not a human being on the planet would listen to it because it's freaking annoying. Why does she think it's acceptable?
It just doesn't feel like they care about this.
Hey, now this sounds like a song though.
Yep.
Her vocals are still distorted, but
this song, if it's like the rest, could be half as long as it is.
This feels like a song that could have been on The Dream.
Everything starts and ends. Everything starts and ends with you.
Song over, copy paste.
I'm gonna put my cough drop in my mouth. Sorry if anyone can hear it click clacking.
You won't have anything to say by the time that cough drop's gone.
It's a Vicks, so it's gonna taste like terrible. But it's necessary. All good medicine should kill you. Put that on a shirt. all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're a band.
Yeah, this is definitely the most band of it so far.
The drums sound completely different. The kick drum is not this giant hip hop kick. Oh man, this is great.
Everything starts and ends. Everything starts
Guitar solo.
with you.
They used to do those occasionally. If you can believe it.
No. Apparently, everything starts and ends with that lyric.
See, there he's doing like ghost notes on the kick. Sounds like a real drummer drumming.
This is, the drummer's doing work here.
You know this is what all those ladies that dance for are doing?
Everything starts and ends with you. Everything starts and ends with you.
That's enough.
You know what I'm talking about though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Every one of their music videos. I think it's badass.
Oh, that dancing?
Yeah, I think it's really
Good.
cool.
Yeah.
Their videos are always awesome. They've totally phoned it in the last few years and they don't have stories to them or anything anymore. It's just cool lighting and people dancing all cool around her and then her taking her fingers and making them look like fame. Hold on, my cough drop fell out.
I was like, what did he just stop saying? Yeah, you were looking for it?
Oh, there's some...
Yeah, I would have too. That's what you get.
Cough and die. Did you hear what I said? I said we should put that on a t-shirt. All medicine should kill you. All medicine should kill you eventually is the quote I said, I think. Okay.
So,
Hey,
that
best
was
song
there
on the
was
album.
best song on the album. There's more interesting things happening there than everything before that, but it is not absolved of some of the other complaints going on here. It is still just a tube.
Listener, if you liked that song, please go back and listen to their masterpiece album. Every song is fire. Every song. It's a perfect album. Go back and listen to their album, The Dream. Okay?
I mean, sounds like I need to listen to that album too.
Maybe we should do a react. If this video gets any views, we'll do it.
If this video gets posted.
Any views. Because, well, I'll post it, and then it'll get taken down, and then I'll post it with no music, and no one will care.
Yeah.
All right, let's just go on to... Here we go. Okay, featuring Ice 9 Kills, dude Spencer Chamas.
Charnes.
Oh,
C-H-A-R.
is that an R and an N? I thought it was an M.
Yep.
Okay, Spencer Charnas.
I don't know if Spencer Charnes is part of Ice 9 Kills or that's an additional featuring credit.
I'm sure it's just that's this dude from Ice 9 Kills, I'm sure. And it's going to feature vocals, so that means this is going to be a heavy song, which means Maria Brink is going to have to sing, which means my prediction, Chris, this song is going to be that penultimate song from Poppy earlier.
We'll see. Hold on. I'm going to look into
Good,
this
you're
first.
doing a fact check.
Yeah.
Good, that's good, because I'm getting a cramp in my left foot, and I might die here pretty soon.
Founded by Charnes. Okay, so he is Ice 9 Kills. All right.
All right, I'm just going to stand for a little while.
Great. That's what we all want.
That way I can really headbang with my long hair for the first time in my bald life.
I was going to say earlier, you looked like Jonathan Davis.
Wow, okay, that's... Okay.
Mostly just because, like, the way that the front of your hair is pulled so tight, it was like almost bandana-esque, but long in the back, which is something I think he does.
Well, if you could see behind me, I don't think there's very much hair there at all because I've got the wig all up front. Hold on, the whatever muscle connects from below your knee to above your knee, that's hurting on me.
In the back?
Yeah, behind my knee, like a tendon or something.
Yeah.
But it's not a cramp. It happened to me this morning when I was laying in bed and I almost died. That's all right. I've had weird things been going on. Don't get COVID, kids. Go get your COVID shot. Don't laugh about it. Just do it.
Yep.
If you haven't had the second round of COVID yet, just literally go get your shot. It's free, and you don't want to get it the full.
You don't want to
COVID.
get it ever.
No, but you especially don't want to get it this round. It can be terrible. All right. You ready for this one?
Are you going to just record standing like that?
Can I do that? Is it really super annoying or anything? I don't think
care.
you would care.
You're going to care. You care more than me. It's your channel. So if you're good, I'm good.
I don't care about this album sucks. I don't care about this video anymore.
Good.
I mean within reason, you know.
Yeah.
Within this moment.
Well done.
All right, this is probably going to be the big song that everyone will come to. If you're just joining us for this, I have kind of a cramp in my leg. And so I'm trying to work it out.
But the show must go on, so he will stand for these.
The show must go on, so I'm going to stand, and we'll see how this one's. Ready? This is The Moment, featuring
Spencer Charnas of Ice Nine Kills.
Vice 9 Kills, a band that I'm not.
No, this song is called Damaged.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, the Winamp has it listed weird. Okay, Damaged. Okay. All right, ready? Mm-hmm. 3, 2, 1. I predict this to be the banger.
We'll see. Why? Because somebody had to come in and they basically had someone in their house, so they had to clean up.
Because they actually had to care when they were doing this song. Think his vocals will be distorted too? Okay, I'm at the right angle to do the hip hop. This is cool. I like this part.
Yep.
Hey, that's the dude from Papa Roach. Just kidding, it's not Jacoby Shaddix.
Okay, yeah.
I was trying to make a joke, but I guess Papa Roach is cool, so. I shouldn't stand up. I can't stop moving. I just look tough. Hey, I'm getting Bad Wolf vibes. Oh, come on. You could have thrown in a scream.
You gotta be kidding me, man.
I'm gonna wear a wig every video, dude. I like the way it feels on my neck.
What, standing?
Yeah, what is the hair? No, that's the hair. Sorry, I said I'm gonna wear the wig in every video.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so did that song surprise you in any way?
No.
Me either.
Absolutely not. Because it's like, okay, so we predict they brought in somebody new. Now they have a reason to do something. They gotta try. There's someone new coming over. You gotta clean up the house, whatever. And instead, They just covered their guest in their filth.
They sure covered him in distortion.
They're just like, all right, buddy, so here's what's happening. We have a formula, and if you're going to help us, if you're going to be a part of the song, you're going to have to be a part of the formula. So in you go.
Okay, so here's the thing. I understand that the distortion thing is like a specific choice that they're doing. It's an aesthetic, right? Like Rob Zombie does a lot this as well. However, I feel he uses different levels of distortion. And I will say, if I'm being totally honest, I do feel like the distortion is way less egregious on this album than it was on Ritual. Like,
wow.
To me, Ritual and parts of Black Widow were like, her voice was so distorted, it literally did sound like she was coming from like a 1930s horror movie. Like, it sounded so bad, but they left a lot of the bad, crispy frequencies in there, right? However, the way they're doing it now, it's definitely still distorted, but you could just see the EQ curve of like them taking away the crispy frequencies, right? And so her voice does fit into the mix well when it's distorted. It's just, it is doing what the entire mix on the Poppy album did, right? Her voice has no high frequencies in it, but then during the choruses, when it's clean, it's just like so refreshing and it's so bloomy. And a lot of the times that's because they're adding lots of layering vocals and vocal harmonies, which she does a brilliant job with. But on her earlier albums, like Blood and Whore and Adrenalize and any of the songs from Blood specifically, because they were still doing this sort of style of music. I feel like as a band, they changed styles between The Dream and Blood. Basically, Star-Crossed Wasteland is kind of them trying to do different things together. And that album is mixed so terribly, I don't want anyone to go listen to that. But go listen to Blood, right? Blood, Chris, is that song where she's like, blood, 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 pour blood in my veins. I'm a dirty, dirty girl. I love to hear you say whatever. Like, it's dubsteppy. It's just like this. Her vocals are
just
clean.
That little section that you did there had more vocals in it than most of these songs.
Right.
More words.
Because she's intentionally doing this like slow thing. I don't know. And so I just encourage people to go backwards in this band's catalog and listen to their earlier stuff. If you want to go all the way back to their first album and try it, you can. I think it is considered like a metalcore album. I think her vocals are not very good on that album, but there's really awesome live video footage. The first time I ever saw this band, they were on MTV or Fuse or something, and they were doing a tribute to Dimebag Darrell, who had just died.
Oh, okay.
And they played Walk by Pantera.
Nice.
And they crushed it.
Yeah.
She just was metal personified. Just incredible. And then they let them play one of their songs, and it was like, it was so different from this. Different from this. But very heavy and soaring chorus. And, it was a young band. They weren't perfect. But then they went in the studio after that and they recorded, like I said, what is, I think, a perfect album. But it's very different than this. So I don't want people's expectations for The Dream to be set so high. But like, they can do so much better than this. I think this is a band phoning it in. You said earlier, I don't want to say that they're phoning it in. That is what's happening.
I feel that I was going to say, this just feels like it exists because it has to.
And the thing is, sorry, I just want to say, that was actually a cool song.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, if that was the first song I heard from this album, I would be like, hey, I'm pretty excited for the rest of this album. Like, there were different things.
Disappointment would come.
Right. And then the disappointment would be there. But that's just what happens. Like,
I had a thought.
Yeah.
I think that when their music is going to precipitously get worse until they stop being a band.
I really hope that's not the case.
Of course, I do too.
I mean, obviously you do too. Like, the thing.
Because this doesn't have any. There's no heart to this at all. It's so.
And I will say too, like I said, I do feel like their album Mother was a step up from Ritual.
Right.
So I was hoping this was going to be a step up from that.
But Mother also had 2 covers on it.
And they're both bad.
They are both bad.
And they're cringy. That was one of those songs that had like all the female metal vocalists on it, and I was like super excited to hear that. And then I was like,
oh no! And did they just push them into the sausage tube like everybody else?
No, they were just trying really way too hard. It was like her and the girl from Haley, whatever, from Hailstorm, which someone did recommend we should listen to on the channel. Do you know that much about them?
I know that they exist, and that's about it.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I know any of their songs.
I think I confuse them a lot with Flyleaf, so I wouldn't mind doing that.
Flyleaf is amazing, and I really hope they have a new album because Lacey Strum's back in the band. So I'm hoping next year we get a new Flyleaf album. We're going to definitely do that. We'd be very excited about that. But yeah, Hailstorm I've always thought of as more of like a rock band. Like, you know how they have like jock rock bands that are like, not jock rock, but like, I guess I think of like Seether and like 3 Days Grace and...
Oh yeah, that's a trailer park rock kind of thing.
Yeah, like that. That's what I've always thought Hailstorm was, but just with a female singer.
Interesting.
I could be totally wrong.
I think I can dig that route. Yeah, I would, not even necessarily judging from their music, which I couldn't give you 2 notes of, but just
seeing the album covers and
just not even, I don't know, just the people that like it and the type of music that they seem to fall into playlists with. And just their overall vibe that I've somehow managed to sort of glean through osmosis out of the air over time.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think maybe that's something we could do in the future, but I don't know. I think that was a good song, but at this point we're just like kind of numb to the fact that this album is anything. It's like Chris Schoenberg said, you know, in that Rob Zombie video, sometimes when you hear something wrong, your ears are automatically like, boom, let's listen for all the other things that are wrong. In this case, what happened was we heard something that was boring.
And I think about that all the time because there was a game, a King Kong game that came out, and I just barely caught the edges of this sort of online trend of like, this is just the worst game ever. And then somebody in our Slack group posted a video of some guy like going, like reviewing it and talking about, is this the worst game ever? And he's playing it. And you can tell immediately that this guy went in with the mindset of this is the worst game ever. And now he's looking for things to claim are the worst thing ever. Yeah. It's like being overly reductive just to prove a point where it's like, look at how these graphics are so terrible. This is just it's absolutely hideous. And it's like, it really is not that bad. It's if anything, it's just super boring and doesn't have very good direction and doesn't have much to do. But it's like, I quit watching it because he was still just, isn't this just the most miserable thing you've ever seen? And it's like, I mean, not really. Like, you know, and I do feel like when you go, it's so hard to avoid that mindset sometimes where you go into a thing with an idea and then you're just looking for that confirmation.
And I personally was definitely going into this with that mindset. You know, I told you right away at the beginning, we listened to the first track and then I laid out my whole problem in this moment, which I've said multiple years in a row on my channel here. I've said it. I think I did a reaction to Mother on my channel, maybe, maybe not.
And see, that's the thing is I wasn't. I liked Purge when I heard it.
Right. That's what that's the point I was going to make.
Okay.
Yeah, is that you weren't necessarily here for that, but then I talked for 20 minutes about what's wrong with them, and I think then you're kind of like, you know, you're laughing at the beginning of every song when I'm like this because it's like, well, it's distorted vocals every single track.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like, but you seem to be overwhelmingly focused on the vocals for every song
because that's what ruins the song for me. And this ruins this band for me.
And I don't really mind that so much. I don't care about the vocal filters they're giving her and stuff like that. It's like, this just sounds like in this moment to me, I'm, you know, focusing on a different aspect of it.
Right, the songs overall.
Just the songs overall, and just, they're just so, there's just nothing to them.
Uninspired.
They're so uninspired. That's a good way to put it. They're very uninspired, and it's so the same thing every song, and it's like, I think between the two of us, I doubt that we're wrong about this.
Yeah, I agree.
Ultimately.
I agree.
So let's finish this off.
Yep. So that was the okay. Now we're on the penultimate track.
Yeah.
Fate
9.
Bringer. In 3, 2.
Fat banger.
Fat banger.
No, I just looked at it.
Fat banger. All right. Fate Bringer in 3, 2, 1. Do I even need to? Nope, I don't need to.
If you cut the first 15 seconds off of every song and just put them next to each other, slow intro, simplified, then this vocal. Slow intro, simplified, then this vocal. It's all of them.
Same thing.
I don't want your pleas, I don't want your offers, don't wanna beg, and you only want this. I don't believe in you anymore. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you.
This is from a different song.
I like the obviously this is an electronic dance beat type thing vibe here.
This needs bass so bad.
Why don't the vocals sound like that the whole album? It sounds so good. Notice how our vocals sit on top of everything, which allows for more room for everything?
I was just thinking about how her vocals are sitting on top of everything to the point where the rest of it could go away and you wouldn't notice.
Just a drum beat. I will say this song is different, though. Like, they're doing something a little different here. And I was going to say...
Within the confines of their formula.
Of the album, yeah. Like, I like these, obviously fake electronic drums. Like, I like that. There was one other song on the album that I commented that, too, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting 80s sounding tom drums. This is cool. If she was doing like a
It kind of felt like the whole thing was an EQ spike. Like it's like a peak where it's like, well, everything's going to be here, but we're going to take this and move it over to like 3,000 and put a lump there. Because it like they had the heavy parts, but there was no low end in them. It was so. Same complaints I've just go back into the video 40 minutes and hear me complain about one of these other songs and just apply it to this one.
I think to me that was the most different song we've heard, and I appreciated that about it. Like You know, if this song, kind of a song, would have appeared on some of their previous albums, I probably would have liked it a lot. But because this album is just a touch more electronic, obviously electronic than some of their previous work, I feel like it was a little bit less special because it's on this album. But the fact that it, like, that to me felt like a Maria Brink solo song, right? Rather than in this moment having really any, not that any of the other songs don't feel that way, but like, I don't know, I just got that feeling from it a little bit more. I think her chorus vocals are like pretty much disappointing always. I don't know why. She just likes to do that like slow. It's like I said, it's like if you told an AI to like just puke out an in this moment song, that's what this feels like.
It is. It's cookie cutter, man.
It's very cookie cutter for this band.
Yeah.
You know, if another band did stuff like this, I think it would be really cool. But because this band has evolved to become this, it's disappointing. Or devolved.
There's still something missing from it.
Yeah.
There's something missing that's keeping it from feeling like it's worth listening to.
And there's no samples on this album either that we've heard at all.
Right, because what are they going to sample? If
Right.
all of the samples come from albums where they have a specific theme that they're trying to capture.
Yeah. And by sample, I mean like a Rob Zombie type like sample from like a movie or something. Not like the drums are all sampled and whatever. So,
right. Well,
so there's definitely samples in that regard, but just want to clarify that.
But yeah, and it's every song. They're just songs.
Let's listen to the last song because I feel like this is going to be a different one.
Okay.
This has to be the piano ballad. It has to be.
See.
Or I don't know. I don't even know if I want it to be or not, but I kind of want it to be just to be like, how would they do that on this album?
Yeah.
So I Would Die For You, the final track off this album, in 3, 2, 1.
This is also the longest song.
Okay, just because it's starting off with some boomy booms doesn't mean it couldn't be the ballad still.
Slowly ramping in, like all of the rest.
I can feel you under my skin.
Kind of clean
Oh,
vocals.
Piano though.
Sometimes it's like legitimately hard to understand what she's saying.
Oh my god, I don't know what any of these words are. She mutters.
She has the most stylized style of singing of any singer I know.
Big time. It's like she had her jaw wired shut.
That is a great way to describe it. She's killing me. My God, how is it 8 o'clock already?
Because we just did 2 3-hour videos.
Nah, we've only been recording this one for an hour and a half.
Wow.
Hour 40 we're at, hour 40.
I think I figured it out.
Okay, good.
I'll tell you when it's over.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a scream here.
Yeah, that'd be something, wouldn't it? You gonna do it? Almost. So, one thing that I consider to have always been true about In This Moment is that they're very subversive. They're a very irreverent band. They do things that you can hear the pearls around the world being clutched in unison when In This Moment is existing. You know, they have built, like, I've seen them live, and they do so much, like, there's so much, like, truth to power and talking about, like, societal problems and screaming in the face of all kinds of pieces of garbage and stuff throughout society. It's like they do it by being, like, overtly waving in front of you the things that you're supposed to be, like, you know, being overtly sexual and stuff, the things that make the straights, by which I mean normal people, uncomfortable. And your mother could listen to this album.
That's a good point.
There is nothing interesting. This is the most toothless safety album that they have ever made, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, they don't. Yeah. I mean, they weren't always like that. I definitely would.
Sure,
They weren't always like that.
But, like, the thing that's one of the things that I think brings so much passion to the stuff about In This Moment that's good, especially if you look at, like, Black Widow, because, like, we're talking about some of the same production styles. Like, Black Widow is in the same era of In This Moment as this album.
Yes, correct.
But there's so much, like, they have a message and a purpose, and, like, they're, you know, calling out a bunch of things and being, it's just, there's a subversion to the way that they present everything happening in that album, even as far as the cover goes, where it's like, this is a scandalous thing. This is stuff that, is
that the album with Sex Metal Barbie on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one, and Ben Big Bad Wolf and Sick Like Me, like you said. And
yeah,
for sure.
And, like, you know, even in their videos, like, the video for Big Bad Wolf is sexual as shit. Like, it's really, like, that's, you know, it's kind of a not safe for work kind of thing. Everything on this album is perfectly safe for work.
Yeah.
And it's such a strange sensation to have a bunch of Safety Scissors songs coming in through the filter of In This Moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's definitely one thing that's adding to it. I don't think it's the most contributing factor, just because I personally don't necessarily care about their message very much in general, just because I don't care about
but I think
the lyrics of most
when
of
they
them.
have a message, it causes them to care more about what they're making.
Right, that's a great point, for sure. For sure, and I agree with that. Like, I would say that my favorite song on this album by far was definitely the cover of... which is a shame. Yeah, because it wasn't that amazing or anything like that. But I do, yeah. This album was literally, I mean, I called it at the beginning. Every song was exactly what I said it was going to be.
Yep, without fail. Even the ones that seemed like they shouldn't be.
Yep, it was exactly what I said it was going to be. So, big bummer, but exactly what I thought it was going to be. Did we waste our time listening to this? No, I don't think so.
No.
In the future, am I going to give them another chance like this? Probably not. This has been 3 albums in a row where I'm like, you need to take your finger off
the mother freaking distortion button
for 1 mother freaking second, and then I will come back and listen to your music, because it is just... I mean, I will say, as uninspiring as this album was, if there was no distortion, it probably would be in my top 2 favorite of their albums. It bothers me that much. I just cannot stand it. And the thing is that it's so predictable is the thing that makes it so frustrating in the first place. Like,
because it doesn't have purpose when you can predict it.
They're going to do it every time. And even like we were saying on Black Widow, when they did it and it was more egregious, like usually she was singing over, like, there's that really cool, I don't remember which song it is, and it might even be a thing in between songs, but there's that cool thing on Black Widow where there's that whole little like intermission thing about the spiders, right?
Yeah.
And she's kind of like doing like a little vocal thing over the top of it. And then I don't know if that's in a song, or if it's the beginning of a song, or if it's in between or what.
I think it's the beginning of one of the songs.
But like, there's things like that, and there's like a horror element to it that gives context to the distortion in her vocals.
Exactly. It gives it a reason to exist. And there's no reason stated in this. This is just a bunch of songs.
That is the kind of thing, as an audio engineer, I will say, that is the kind of effect you would put on a vocal to hide the imperfections in it. Maria Brink is a fantastic singer, a fantastic
effortlessly good
vocalist. She can do things that no other female singer can do in the metal world. And the fact that they insist on hiding her behind all this distortion is just dumbfounding to me, and it just is absolutely disappointing to me.
She has such a unique voice. Like,
Absolutely.
We were talking earlier about the similarities between Poppy and Lights, and it's like this, Maria Brink could be in that same category, but she's not because she has such an interesting voice.
Yeah, and she can
uses
do
it in interesting ways.
So many different things.
And it's just never happening here.
Absolutely disappointing. Disappointing. All right, well, we can end the video there. Unfortunately, I think we are both very negative on this album, so we don't need to rate it. Do you want to rate it on your one song rating?
See, I knew that. I was just thinking, like, if I was going to give it a number. No, don't. We don't want to do numbers here. And it's like, what do I do? I want to say a 5.
A 5?
I was going to give it a 5.
That's what I would think, too, about a 5. Maybe a 6. Like if I was driving in the car, I feel like I could put this album on before I would put like Ritual on, maybe before I would put Mother on, but any of their albums before that are better. Even Star-Crossed Wasteland, which has a couple of really interesting songs, but is again just mixed terribly or mastered terribly, whatever. So
one of them, yeah.
I think the thing that they need to do to fix this is they need to work with all new people in the studio.
Yeah, have you checked to see if it's the same guy? What's his face?
It's this Kevin Churko and their whole crew. It's the same people that they've been doing it. It's the same. You got to diversify, man. It's the same guys that have been doing all of the Five Finger Death Punch albums for the last same amount of time they've been doing these guys.
Oh boy.
It's the same guy that did the Rob Zombie album we listened to just the other day. However, that album was done 10 years ago. So he still had a little bit of, because he was also working in this moment 10 years ago. And I feel like some of he produced, I believe, their album that I love, which has
Dream?
a full, Dream. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so like I said, we'll just end the video here. Thank you everybody for watching. Please go check out our Halloween video, especially if you want to know what's so special about vinyl records and what's so special about One by Metallica and how those two things are linked.
Did we talk about that? We talked about a lot of stuff on that.
We talked about a lot of things. But go check out our Halloween special video where we listened to a Rob Zombie album. And I did a lot of extra side work on that, including making some not original, but music that was definitely Metallica inspired. Making some music, doing some mixing, doing a skit, writing a script. Oh my gosh, I did a whole lot of work for that video. So go check it out.
I can't wait to see that.
If nothing else, the video is already out by the time this will be out. So go check go click on the video and then just scrub through and try to find the interesting parts if you want to just skip all the Rob Zombie stuff or us BSing around about Halloween and what our costumes are and stuff if you want to. But you can also watch the whole thing. So thank you very much, and we will see you all next time.